Welcome to Talking Giants presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And it's our annual bye-week interview / collab, and we're doing it with our good friend, License Plate Guy. So how long did we have with him, Justin? Like 45, 50 minutes?
Yeah, a little over 50 minutes. So you're going to have a whole Talking Giants episode, full plate of a Talking Giants episode to start off your Monday morning, which I find to be awesome. Nice little substitute instead of a game recap.
I missed the Giants deeply today. We're recording this before Sunday Night Football. Usually the bye week's a nice refresher. The Giants being good, I really missed them today.
Yeah, certainly missed winning Giants football. But no, it was a pretty cool day for some Sunday football. I really enjoyed that Dolphins-Bears game. Justin Fields. I was like really rooting for the Bears. The Bears are becoming like my third favorite NFL team.
Dude, they rub
this year.
off on you. I've always said they're like my stepbrother team.
The Bears roster is just so bad, and it's crazy how well they're doing with that bad roster, and Justin Fields just running around like a maniac. So cool Sunday football day. Let's go 7-3, 7-2, 7-3, 7-2.
7-2, baby. This episode was brought to you by Tom Cito. Reminds me of the Ceta down the street. And then Grant Cartilage. He's got a lot of cartilage in his nose because it's never been broken. Justin, who are these people?
I broke my nose once. Patreon.com/TalkingGiants. $2 a month plus some other tiers. You get to hang out with us, watch the shows live. I'll tell you what, these next 2 weeks, Giants should definitely be 8-2. Okay? Let's just throw it out there. So
Let's do it.
You're going to want to be hanging out with us on some Victory Mondays, but we celebrate them early by recording on Sundays with our Patreon chat. So come hang out with us. Subscribe to that. Bobby Skinner sends you some stickers, magnets in the mail, plus some shirt raffles. Patreon.com/TalkingGiants.
Before we get into the License Plate Guy, over under 39.5 yards for Kadarius Toney on Sunday Night Football.
Over.
See, I was going to go under, so that's interesting. I am kind of fascinated to watch him play on the Chiefs. I just can't hate Toney, even though he's given us reasons to hate him. I just can't hate him.
I think he's going to have a solid Sunday Night Football performance, and it's going to be a national talking point. And then he'll play a quarter the next week against somebody, and then he'll get hurt, and then everybody will forget.
That is probably the most likely outcome out of all of this. All right, Justin, let's get into this interview.
Yeah, let's get into this interview, but first we got to talk about Athletic Greens. An interview with License Plate Guy is the best way to start off your day on your Monday with this Giants bye week. Well, Athletic Greens and taking 1 scoop of AG1 in a glass of water is the best way to start your day. If you don't have time, if you need more energy, if you hate taking pills and vitamins, and you want a supplement that actually tastes great, let's incorporate AG1 into your life. What is this stuff? With 1 delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things. It's flu season, so you got to make sure you get your immune system up. You got to stay healthy. You want to be ready to rock and roll for the Giants to play on Thanksgiving, gather with your family members, etc., etc. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, I got that wrong again, so all the comments that like to make fun of me pronouncing things wrong, there you go. Dairy-free or gluten-free, Athletic Greens uses the best blend of products based on the latest science with constant product iterations and third-party testings. And to make things easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/giants. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/giants to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
You'll be glad you did. And here's License Plate Guy. All right. We now welcome on bye-week episode. First time. Well, this is the first time we had you officially on the podcast in season. We always have you on a couple times during the off-season. Then the Fan Fest show. The one and only License Plate Guy. We're winning. How does that feel? Every time we're talking about, this and that, but it's never like, winning. It's like maybe we're winning it 2 years from now, but we're actually winning. How you feeling, man?
I feel great. It's funny. I've done a couple of podcasts. You're actually the first one that basically asks how you feeling about it. Honestly, how do you not love this right now and not talking about the draft? I mean, people are still talking about who's out there, what positions we need in this and that, but we're in meaningful football in November. It's incredible. I really do. I feel great about it.
Yeah. do a mid-season mock draft every year during the bye week, which I'm working on right now. So, but it's I'm very happy that we're doing picking 27th in it compared to, third and fourth and usual years.
Gets a lot harder.
I was just going to say it's got to be, where you're picking and what you're looking at. It's got to be a little harder.
I also feel the heat that Joe Shane got this week about not getting a wide receiver, where I'm like, if I don't take a wide receiver in the first round, every comment's going to say, like, you're an idiot. We need a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah, so obviously let's talk about that. That's the elephant in the room. And even Justin and I wound up seeing one of his tweets to me much later than I wish I would have seen it earlier. But, everybody has their opinion. And when the media and then fans pick up on a certain when they fixate on something that happens to be the wide receiver spot, you can't let it go. It's sort of like the Giants and the O-line for every single year, and now we're fixed on this wide receiver thing. It started in the offseason. It started when the Giants got rid of some players that maybe they should have kept or whatever, but they went with the ones they thought were better. And Kenny Golladay did not get out of his slump that he was in last year, and he continued. And obviously the glaring hole was wide receiver. So the Joe Shane doesn't do it. And, I didn't get much as to why in his press comments, although I freaking loved it. Guys, it's sort of like free agency to me. You pay big money, A money for C players. And I believe that they were asking for A drafts when you could give them B or C drafts, and nobody was taking it. And I believe he did the right thing.
Yeah, so are you're not on, like, it's not fair to DJ because Daniel Jones needs to prove himself this year. So where are you on that? Like, and also I saw, like, Joe Shane is giving up on this year's team, which I don't see it like that at all. Where are you on that? Yeah,
Justin, great question, bro. So, there really is two sides to that. You really can make an argument for that, though, Justin. You really can. You could say, holy crap, here we go again. When is the DJ lovers? And I want DJ to succeed. And I believe he's such a very good player. And he's doing all the right things that you need for him to do. And, look at all the things we used to complain about, the fumbles and this and that. And he's cleaned up most of his act. And, so do I want him to have? All you have to do is look at the Seahawks game. And what I mean by that is, Geno Smith's over here with Lockett and Metcalf, and you look at the receivers for DJ, and it's just not fair when it comes to that. So here I am, Humpty Dumpty, because I could fall both sides. I hate that for DJ. And he's still winning. Okay? He's still winning. So, yes, I understand that argument. But on the flip side, stop telling me that a quarterback needs everything to succeed, because I also don't believe in that. So again, there are arguments for both sides. It sounds like I'm flip-flopping, but I'm not. I could sit here and tell you I like that they didn't do anything. Yes, I wish they added a receiver for DJ. I mean, it all depends on what you want, but it goes back to what the arguments that we have on Twitter. Like, I'm not going to tell someone their opinion. That's your opinion. Great. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I also think where I agree with you is, like, prices are usually going to be higher at the trade deadline unless it's a flat out, we don't want this guy on our team, let's sell him type, like Robbie Anderson from the Panthers, where DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, like those guys, they were going to, like, the Broncos weren't in a rush to get rid of Jerry Jeudy. It was like, if someone wants to go crazy and they still love him from the draft and offer us like a high second and a third, then yeah. But obviously, like, I don't want the Giants to do that. And like DJ Moore, I still have my eye on him for the offseason because I think the trade.
Wait. I love that you just said that. So I was just going to ask you and Justin. I know somewhere in your freaking papers, because you guys are like all over this stuff. Forget about the ones you could have traded for. Tell me who is available from that list or a B list when the season ends.
Yeah, and I just think wide receivers are always going to be traded in bulk, and you do see a good amount come out in the draft every single year that you can you work with. Even like, and like an example of one who failed is Jerry Jeudy, and that's who everyone wants to trade for. So even if they're not like the slam dunk wide receiver one, you can get some good value out of them. I was hoping for a fair deal, but I also knew that the trade deadline, you're not going to get a fair deal, so I wasn't expecting anything.
That's correct. You had monopoly money with Kadarius Toney's 3 and 6, and I would have given a 3 and a 6 or done something for somebody, but that 3 and a 6 was like a 2 and a 4 to somebody else, and I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
you have to really look. You have to look at the wide receiver that you wanted, and you have to say, okay, is this wide receiver better than a second round pick? And there's how your math should happen. Like, is Jerry Jeudy better than a second round pick? Dude, has it come out that of what maybe Denver wanted for him? I didn't read anything.
The only person who did is Ben Albright, and he's he is known as a liar. So I hate not even just about other stuff, but like lying about his life and stuff. Yeah. So the only person who said it is Ben Albright, and he's just a known liar. So,
but then go ahead, Justin.
No, but ultimately, I mean, trade deadline, especially by the time this is, coming out, trade deadline's coming past. And as you said, people's opinions, I'm mostly just glad that we don't have to talk about it every day on Twitter. Because really, I want to get back to that part of the season where we're just reckless Giants fans playing with house money every single week. Because I ultimately feel like, with the Seattle game, us losing, and especially in the way that we lost, you said it right. Geno Smith has DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett with tight ends and a good running game, where Daniel Jones, they have a good running game that Seattle shut down. Seattle was able to shut down kind of the few pieces that we had offensively. So I want to get back to this part of the season where, there's no opportunity to upgrade. We got no money. We're not giving up any draft picks. So now we're in the second part of the season. We're going to win with the roster that we got. We're going to win because of coaching. And I want to get back to that reckless part of the season where we're just rooting for this team, knowing exactly what we're going to get out of Sunday. So tell me about especially your game day experiences so far this year. How different have they been from previous years? Clearly different, but tell me about them.
Yeah, I mean, completely different. I've become a little numb in recent years, knowing that I was going to away games, and already in the, in the first quarter, second quarter, I'm thinking about, what a disgusting ride to the airport and a disgusting red eye home to go to work the next day to listen to all my colleagues. Oh, you wasted your money again, I see. So this is completely different. And I'm loving going to the games. There's a million Giant fans at every game that we've been to so far. I mean, shoot, Justin, you were there. You saw it was like a home game, the Nashville game.
Yep.
And then we go to Jacksonville. It was like a home game because Florida's New York times 2.
Were you guys chanting New York in the Blower Bowl? We were in the top part of the stadium?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was honestly, the New York Giant fans roll hard, but the experience to go to away games and you win, it's great, man. I mean, there's nothing better. So, I haven't experienced that in years. Forget about 16. I haven't experienced that in 10 years. So it's really cool to know that that red eye. Well, Seattle sucked, but London trip or whatever trip you like, I don't know. It's just a different experience. You're nothing bothers you. You get on that plane and you're happy. You're not miserable. Maybe like a 7-hour flight. Oh, well, all right. See you in 7 hours.
Yeah.
When you lose, it's completely different.
We're also undefeated in London, which is a beautiful, we've played 3 times and won every time. It's a beautiful thing.
3-0, baby. 3-0. And I have it's such a great trip. And look, that was obviously a Green Bay, home game. And I knew that they were going to travel hard because that was their first time in London. So think about it. If I never went to London and I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, I'm like, oh man, let's hey guys, let's plan a trip to London. By the third time, the Giant fans are like, I've been there, done that. So you knew it was going to be packed. And you know what? I knew the Giants were going to win because freaking Rodgers gave me an air elbow. I knew the Giants were going to win.
Yeah, I was a little aggravated. I was hoping you would try and break his elbow.
Yeah, he's actually. I mean, he said some pretty cool stuff. We were when the camera was off, and he turned around and took some pics with some fans, and he was actually a pretty cool dude. But I mean, I didn't want to like him, and I don't. So
somebody that you did see was Eli. You saw Eli in the Eli Manning show.
Justin, So look, I've been around Giants players for basically my whole life, and I still get like weirded out with him. No one else, just him. Like he's a god. He's a god, and the I'm telling you, it was the greatest experience because I would go to this Giants bar, and they're closing down. I don't know why they're closing down yet. They're closing down from 3 to 5 or something because they got some filming going on. I got there at 10 to 3. And I'm like, oh, come on, I just got here. Like, oh, please, what's going on? And look, you know, let's put it this way: management, coaches, whatever. And I got to stay. And all of a sudden, I find out that it's the Eli Manning show. And the greatest part about it was I'm sitting in the bar, and he's not there yet, and he's waiting to come. And then all of a sudden, he comes in these double doors, and I see him get stopped by security. And I'm on the inside, and he's on the outside. And he's like, I see him like, like basically, what's going on? So I open the door. He's like, it's my show. Like, I'm not letting me in my show. So I said to the guys, no, he's good. Let him in. He gets in. He's like, if it takes you to get me in, we're totally in trouble today, which I thought was so great. It was so great. But here's the best part of this story. So I got to talk to him for like 5 minutes, which is an eternity. No one could get Eli for a minute. And I show him, hey, I got this new tattoo. I love it. You look, the escape. I'm showing him like, look at you. It's awesome. It's this big. And he's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Little did I know, 10 minutes later, did you see the show? 10 minutes later, this guy from London, he's like a big wig in London. He's got like 2 million followers or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Huge tattoo.
Yeah, he has Eli Manning on his back. This freaking big, a portrait of Eli Manning. It was literally almost like this card of just his head, just his face on his back. And I'm like,
you're showing off your leg, and this guy's got his entire back.
Which afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like he's like, yeah, Joe, yeah, really nice. Meanwhile, this guy got his back of Eli Manning. So the story is the guy bet his friend, there's no way Eli Manning is beating the undefeated Patriots. And his friend's like, yeah, well, you get a tattoo of Eli Manning. And he does. He's like, fine, I'll do it. And he did it.
I just can't believe how much of... I mean, he's always been a superstar, and believe me, like after he wins Super Bowl MVP in 2011 and he hosts Saturday Night Live, I don't think anything's going to top that. But, well, no, you know what? No. There's the question. Because of the Manning cast now, is Eli Manning more of a, like, known commodity household superstar name compared to when he won Super Bowl MVP? I think that's a fair question.
That might be a fair question. I would say in the Giants world, he'll always be a god. I could say in the football world, he was considered probably lucky, right? In the football world. I doubt if you polled other teams, fans, he wouldn't be sitting in the top of anybody's category. Right. Only for the Giants, right?
But now with the stuff that he's doing with the media is just, it's unreal.
Yes, because if you're a football fan, you're literally watching the Manning cast and you're loving it. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing like the college football. I mean, he's like, they're all over the place.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
The college football stuff they do. So, how was London just in general? Like, so I had a lot of FOMO that weekend. Was it deserved, or was it like it's rough flying over here and flying back and all that?
It's just as much as going to Seattle.
That's true.
So, I mean, look, I think it's a little further, but the point is, it's great. It's awesome. I always have a great time going over the pond. I do want to see, Abbey Road. I do want to go to the bars in London. It's just, the fans are incredible. Look, when London started getting games, they were cheering. The first time I went to London, they were cheering on a punt. Now they know football, actually. So, you know what I mean? Now they're like, oh, they cheer on a sack. They cheer on a touchdown. Like, they know football. And I think, NFL's done such a great job of exploring, I guess different countries, and they're gonna wind up getting an NFL team there. I guarantee. I mean, it's only 7 hours. They're gonna get an NFL team.
There's a lot of international fans, and we've learned that from doing the show. Like, there's so many. Like, Ruben was the part. We know Ruben. He was part of the media. for that. And it's like,
Oh, let me
you
tell
know,
you something. If you follow that guy, first of all, we hung out for a little bit in London. If you follow him, there is nobody that had a better weekend than that dude.
oh yeah, I mean, he was
I
living his
mean,
dream.
nobody.
I was cheesing just watching
Me
all his
too.
videos.
I agree with you. And you know what? This is something that you and I, all three of us, have been talked about when you guys first started. And that is be happy for the ones that finally get something like that. I mean, don't hate it. I loved that he had a chance to interview these guys, fans that he's been years of being a fan for the Giants and these guys, and he's able to get in that locker room or whatever he did. I was so happy for him. It was not even funny. He had probably the best weekend of his life.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
asked
mean, he had to meet
Dable.
Pat Leonard, and that was like, that's the only bad thing that happened to him that weekend.
Yeah, he asked Dable a question after the game too, which was pretty cool. So I went down and chatted with you for a few minutes when I was in Nashville, and that's the first time that I've ever seen you at a Giants game. And I've been coming to Giants games myself since 2005. That's the first time I've ever seen you at a game, which is crazy. So while I was down there, one of the things that I learned, holy shit, this is really close to the field. Like, it's like, Galladay's warming up, and, we saw, John Mara and Tim McDonald, everybody like that. It's like, oh, you can, like, see these people. You can see these people breathe. You can see them spit. So talk to me about what you're seeing on the sidelines this year, especially when you compare it to, I'm sure there was some turmoil on the sidelines throughout the last couple of years. We all know about the Kenny Galladay yelling in Washington last year. So talk to me about the sideline this year, the activity that you're seeing, the coaching that you're seeing, what the players are like. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, great question again. It is different. In 2000, when I started, I said I was going to go to every game. I wasn't sitting front row. And a few years later, I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And then being able to hear the conversations or the coaches, giving plays out, or Nick Gates now running down the line and giving high fives, or, Sterling Shepard giving everybody off the bench, or OBJ, whoever it was. I'll never sit anywhere else. It's not the best to view the game. I could tell you that right now. But it is for you feel like you're on the bench. So you're right about that. Look, winning cures everything, Justin. I mean, everything. When you're losing and, you have people that are walking away from coaches. You have people that are not listening. You have people that can't believe it's fourth down already. We're punting already, coming off the bench, throwing the helmets, not putting them on the heaters or whatever on the bench, like just tossing them and waiting for some equipment manager to pick it up. Like, I feel like from my seat, I'm like, pick up your freaking helmet, be a professional. But you see all of that. So you're right. It's a really good question. Look, I've watched coaches for many years. Let's just go back to Judge. I've watched Judge go and coach and teach and mentor. I watched him go over to, Kadarius Toney and talk to him about why either he wasn't in that play or what he thought he ran the wrong route or whatever he's doing, and coaching. And it's tough, again, when you're trying to talk to someone when you're down 28 and you're 0-4 or 2-6. Now you got Dable running around, everybody smiles, everybody's high-fiving, everybody's chest bumping, everybody's drinking water and happy. So there's a tremendous difference, and you see it everywhere. And it's fun to watch. I hope it continues. Like you guys said before, I mean, I don't know if this is house money, but 6-2, nobody expected 6-2. So I really do hope that they stay together. I will tell you this. The number one thing that I've seen this whole year, there's not one player bigger than anybody else. So I'm not saying that was the past couple of years. I'm just saying I don't think anybody knows how to be cocky. I don't think they know what it is. I don't think they know how they're winning. I don't, maybe they're just coming together as a unit, as a team. Offense is doing what they're supposed to do. Defense is doing what they're supposed to do. And special teams, besides the last game, they're doing what they're supposed to do. So I just think that everybody is a cohesive unit. I really do. And that's the difference. There's no cockiness going on.
Your boy Landon's back. You ditched me in Jacksonville to hang out with him. Like
I did. We did dinner, and I'm sorry. That's very true.
I was like, "What are you doing tonight?" He's like, "Dinner with Landon Collins." I'm like, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Big Shot."
All right. So I'm in London. My bag is coming out, and I turn up. It's 1 a.m. Turn around. Landon Collins is in the airport. Like, it was right after I saw Aaron Rodgers. I mean, my friend. I mean, it's awesome. I couldn't believe he's back. Like, this is great. Look, Landon's got to prove himself. He's got to he's not a captain anymore. He's not a starter. Landon's got to do the right thing, and hopefully maybe he comes back. I haven't broken down any film of Landon. I used to, actually. I don't know how many plays he's playing a game. I talked to him on the sideline. He's not in. All of a sudden I look for him. Oh, shoot, he's in. With, I guess, some kind of package that the Giants put in on, Wing puts in on defense. Is he playing a lot?
Did they play him in that dime linebacker role that Tony Jefferson was?
Only?
Yeah, only that. Now, like, versus the Jaguars, people are like, he played 19 snaps. It's like, well, because they were in that package for the entire last drive that was like 13 or 14 plays.
And actually, he had a big tackle on that. He shed a block and had a tackle.
Yeah, on a third
earlier
down,
in the game,
too.
on a screen pass, down. I think it was.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, does he look good?
I mean, he looks like the same Tony. I mean, it's not a very demanding role, because when they're in that formation, they're not going to run the ball. You're basically just playing like a spy underneath, and so it's not much. So how does he feel about like going from captain, third in defensive player of the year, $84 million contract, to now it's like a fairly short period of time. Now he's just the dime linebacker that's being elevated from the practice squad.
I have watched him. He looks like the same player to me, and what I mean by that is not on the field, on the bench. He's still mentoring the younger guys. He still handles himself professionally. Landon's a really nice guy. Like, he's different. He's just built different. So that's never going to change in him. I haven't sat and asked, like at dinner, we didn't talk about, how does it feel just to be that? I didn't want to go that route. We just talked about how does it feel to be back. And he's a lot happier here than he was in Washington, although, he was making a hell of a lot more money. And he'll tell you that. And again, I think what's the rule? Again, shoot, I always forget this one. They got one more time to bring him
practice
up.
Squad elevations. Yeah, I have trouble with that one too, Joe.
Yeah, there's one more time, because he's only been elevated twice, I believe, right? The Jacksonville game.
It's three, and he's on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I believe he'll be elevated for the Texans, and he'll be up. That'll be his spot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because Tony Jefferson is on the IR, which he would have another game after this, I believe.
Correct.
And it's like, well, Tony Jefferson's a wink guy, and Tony Jefferson did play that role pretty like he had more opportunities than Landon so far, but like he did do more than. So it'd be interesting to see if like you can't just I don't think Landon's just gonna sit on the practice squad for the rest of the year and not be elevated type guy,
No, wait. From whose standpoint? The Giants? From Wink?
From Landon's standpoint.
Well, yeah, he is, because that's his contract.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And he's not making.
So, but how does he feel? Like, is he kind of like down and
No, he's not one time been negative about it. He has an opportunity, dude. He wasn't playing.
Yeah.
He wasn't picked up by anybody. Maybe they didn't want to take. Nobody wanted to take the chance. We knew when we talked in the summer that if he didn't get picked up by camp, that his butt wasn't going to get picked up before the first game, because then the money wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
So we knew that he wasn't going to play, and he wasn't going to get picked up until after the first game. I just love that it was the Giants.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Landon's the kind of guy where obviously, I mean, any human being in the world wants to get paid money, but I also have a feeling based on Landon's comments on like Gettleman, I have a feeling he's also a guy, along with being, guaranteed a salary, he wants to be appreciated, which I think ultimately the Giants do, even if they're not giving him, 30, 40 snaps a game. I ultimately feel like he came back here because, number one, the Giants gave him a salary, but then also, number two, I feel like the Giants appreciate him, and he appreciates that a certain someone is no longer here anymore. So,
and let me tell you something. We went back and forth whether he was going to bring up a certain someone. He asked me if that's the route that he should take, and I said you'd have to do what's comfortable, but if you lie about your situation, you're just going to sound fake. I said, Gettleman is respected in the Giants organization. They respect him. He's a very nice guy. But they also know that he set the team back a while.
Yeah.
And when you talk about that, you have to talk ownership. So they know. And they know they have a lot of cleaning up to do. And that's why you got someone from outside. That's why we're in this position. That's why you got someone new making these decisions. That's why he turned over the Giants turned over a new leaf. They got into the so yes, going back to Landon, Justin, I think you hit the nail on the head. He wants to be respected. He wants to know that it was never him. Look, he used to tell, I swear to you, Justin, he used to tell me he was hurt. He was battling injuries. He would get surgery and go in and lift weights and be there after dark, and Gettleman would literally pass him from right in front of him during contract year and not say a freaking word to him. Just walk right by him like he didn't exist. Like the level of disrespect from him was unbelievable. And Landon's not the only guy to tell me that. I could sit here and tell you all stories what OBJ would tell me. I could tell you stories left and right. And you know what's funny? I could care less about the likes and the retweets and this and that we get on social media. We put out content. If people like it, awesome. But when I put out the Landon thing, it's just amazing of who liked it. I don't get many players, that like my stuff. All of a sudden that one, I get 20 players out of the, 15 players out of the Buddha like that one. Why that one? So, it's just funny that he's back and he cleared the air and not one person in the Giants organization said anything to him about it.
All right, the LPG interview is still going to go strong. A little Odell Beckham Jr. talk is coming up next, so you don't want to miss it. But we got to talk about Manscaped first. You know how LPG is a big pickleball guy? Well, it turns out that the aerodynamics of south of the equator is quite important in terms of your fast twitch muscle fibers, and LPG uses Manscaped, and I want you to use it too. This holiday season, I'll be giving thanks to our friends over at Manscaped. Everyone loves turkey and stuffing, but you'll be looking like dessert with the help of Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Trim your pumpkins by going to manscaped.com. Use code GIANTS for free shipping and 20% off. I'm telling you, it's one of our great deals. And you want to talk about a holiday spread? How about the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer? How about the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer? How about the Crop Preserver ball deodorant? How about the Crop Reviver tone? How about some performance boxer briefs and a travel bag to hold all your goodies? That is what is inside the Performance Package 4.0. You want the entire package so your hygiene is at its best. Men's hygiene, really, really important. You want to make sure that you got that locked down. Get 20% off and free shipping with code GIANTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code GIANTS. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your balls, they will thank you. Let's get back to the interview with LPG. Joe Rubeck. Let's talk some Odell Beckham Jr. Begrudgingly. For some of you. Some of you like talking about Odell. Let's do it.
How did Odell sneak in without Shane and Dable knowing about it, or are they full of it?
No, they're not full of it, actually. Shane didn't know until he was gone. But I think that was Shep and Barkley's doing. OBJ's got, I say this a million times, and I don't care already. The guy's one of the nicest guys I've ever met my entire life. He'll give you the shirt off his back. He might even give you this shirt. I don't know if you guys. I mean, this is the greatest shirt I've ever seen. But he might even give you. I'll send it to all of you. I'll send anybody who wants.
All of our best-selling shirts end up turning bad. Shake and bake, media some clowns, and now the Brian Dable shirt. Like, please God, let the Brian Dable shirt be good.
My friend asked me. He says, Joe, listen, I want to. You do so much for charity, blah blah. I want to make these shirts, and do you mind putting them up for me? I'm like, I don't want to put anybody else's stuff up but mine. But I'll do it for you. He's one of my closest friends. He made an F yeah Dable. He made a Tony, and he made a Kadarius Tony, and a KT. And I was like, no problem, I'll do it. 2 weeks later, it's gone. I'm like, how your shirts doing, bro? I'm like, give them to me. I'll just give them out to Giant fans. But when we talk, so OBJ, so no, he went in there. He hung out with his boys. They went to dinner after, and he was out. But I don't. Shane was not joking. I think anything Shane says, I think he really just shoots from the hip.
Yeah, obviously, like, you can never get mad at GMs for lying about things because it's like their job to lie. Like, yeah.
I wore this on Sunday.
It's sad that I know what that is without even you having to turn it around.
That's actually pretty sad. He went bananas, bro. He went bananas. He's like, that's the greatest jersey I've ever seen. I was like, do you want it? He did. He's like, that's the greatest jersey I've ever seen. It was actually pretty cool.
Which player this year has been most like interactive with you on the sideline?
Ooh, Landon, Barkley. Preseason it was Bachman, Gates.
Dude, so I can't get over how happy I am. Like I didn't think he was coming back. Me and you talked about that stuff. It's like we don't put that out there, but it's like, I talked with him, you talked with him. I didn't think he was coming back. When those setbacks happened, I thought it was done.
Let's freaking put it out there now. I went to the Yankee game with him. I did invite you. I went to the Yankee game with him, and word for word, we were talking about him getting an NFL settlement and never playing again.
Wow.
And that's just the summer. That's just the summer.
He's like, that was like in the July or something.
It was just the summer, and he's like, I'll never play again. It's so cool the Giants to keep me on and let me rehab and blah, blah. And I'm like, really? That's it? And he's like, probably. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad for you, but it sucks, but you're always going to be loved here. You go beat up some other players on the opposing team, and you're loved here for life. And here we are in November talking about, when they said he was playing, I texted him, I'm like, you're not playing. And then he's like, they're going to activate me. And I'm like, all right, but you're not playing. And then he gets to the game, and I'm like, you're not playing. He comes to the sideline. I'm like, you're playing. He's like, I know. And
that was basically the same conversation. I was like, are you actually going to play? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, all right.
I said, all right. I was like, I remember turning around to Danny, the guy sitting with the helmet. I said, he's not playing, bro. He's like, he's playing. I'm like, he will not see the field. What do you want to bet? I'm sorry. Thank God I'm not a betting man, bro. He's like, I'm like, he's not playing. So this is pretty cool. I'll tell you guys this. I don't make it public, but sometimes I get to go hang out with the family after the game. Well, it just so happened that my red eye was in like 4 hours, so I got a chance to hang out in the little family area after the Seattle game. Gates had like 10 people there, bro, from his family. And there were tears and there were hugs. And I didn't go over there. I let them. It was emotional. It was emotional. His brother and his mom. And it was emotional. And for Nick too. So, it's kind of cool when you see from afar. Like I was a voyeur. And I was watching that going on, and then I saw McFadden. Like, he had some people there, and they were, there's nothing but smiles.
He had a good game. Yeah,
right. His first sack, and like these are kids, guys. These are freaking kids. And he's like, you're not gonna sack. I'm gonna sack. You're gonna sack. You know, like it's mind blowing. You know, and Daniel Jones is is talking to his dad and talking about the game. Like that's his dad. You know, like I'm like, oh my God, is Daniel Jones like he just got his ass beat?
Yeah.
You know, like just thrown all over the ground and. You know, I don't know.
Justin hung out with the Daniel Jones family after his first preseason game, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I hung out, but yeah.
Whatever,
So Joe, do you know that story?
No, I don't, but please tell me.
This is so I was one of the first and possibly the only person that was talking really nice about Marcus Golden heading into the 2019 season. I loved him.
I'm with you, by the way. Me too.
Loved him. Like
I still do, by the way.
Yes, I still love him, and because
Marcus Golden.
Now because of my my close attachment to his family, like I will always love him, and they should never trade him.
Awesome.
But anyway, I was talking about his pressures, and I was talking about like, the sacks may not be there, but the advanced stuff is there. He's gonna have a good year, second year off the ACL. He's gonna break out for the Giants this year with James Betcher, and he's back. So then he did. I mean, and this is even before, but the preseason, there was a preseason game. I forget who it was against, but I still have the family sticker like in my room somewhere, and I saw his father. His father DM'd me. He's like, "Come down. I'll give you a wristband for the family tent." And then I went down and I like met his family and I met him after the game. It was the most surreal thing. Now, Joe, at this point, I'm not on Talking Giants. I have my own Giants show called Bleeding Blue, which you've been on. Bleeding Blue was my everyday Giants show before I turned it into a Giants history show. So I'm 21 years old. I'm a kid, and I'm a nobody on Twitter who just talks nice about a player, and I'm about to meet this player. So that was quite the story. That family tent is a really cool time and a cool experience. And why like your story resonates so much is because now that we're winning again, we have a team that we want to root for these players. Like no matter kind of how you feel about Daniel, like we've seen even the most Daniel Jones haters start to be like, hey, Daniel Jones is having a good year. Saquon Barkley, the most Saquon Barkley haters. Saquon Barkley's having a good year. And no matter how you feel about it, you can appreciate it for what it is. And now that we have guys that are in-house because we're winning, we have guys, players, human beings that we could continue to root for if they're extended for a couple more years, which is really, really fun and really, really cool. Things that we haven't had. We haven't had stability. When you buy a Giants jersey, since basically after 2016, 2017, after you buy that Giants jersey, it will become obsolete in 2 years.
Dude, Julian Love might get extended. He's going to be the first Giants player extended drafted since Sterling Shepard. And the one before that was Odell. And he was traded a year after. Yeah. So it's been like, there hasn't been been like two since like 2000, since like the 2013 draft class has been extended. Odell and Shepard, and now maybe Julian Love.
Hey, Justin, I want to tell you two things of what you just said. First of all, the Daniel Jones haters and the Barkley and this and that, although they're let's just say they're quiet. I'm not going to say that their hate is still not there. I'm going to say that their drafts in their Twitter account are filled. How's that? It's coming. His first 2 interception game or his first 2 fumble games.
We're not getting there. Why are you talking about this? We're not getting there.
All right.
We're not.
You're correct. And
he's never throwing an interception again. It is kind of crazy. We're heading to the bye week, and he's had 2 interceptions, and one was just not his fault at all.
Yep. You know, and the second thing, Marcus Golden. So Marcus Golden tweets me, sends me a DM right around the time the Giants are trading him or getting rid of him, and he says, "Hey, swing by." You know, gives me his address. He had like 2 garbage bags full of like Giant stuff for me to raffle off.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I remember
so
that.
when I actually, Justin, do you have a Marcus Golden something?
No, I don't.
He
wasn't here long enough for me to get anything.
I'm gonna give you something.
Oh,
I have some 44s, like the stuff that players get, like will have
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So or oh wait, here you'll appreciate this one.
Well, and you should have bought some just regular Marcus Golden merch, Justin. Like he did
No,
sell
I
it.
mean
I had a Kadarius Toney, like one of his shirts that he sells in the package when he was traded.
Yeah.
So
That's the issue. These players are here for a year and a quarter.
So I got two more things I want to cover with you before we go.
I just want to tell you that the Giant, and then go on your thing. The Marcus Golden thing. Kudos to Tim.
In Florida?
Tim? Now,
Yeah, it was about to Tim
from
Florida.
Giants management, baby.
McDonald.
No names. Do you know why? Because there were some other teams that they were going to ship Golden to.
Oh yeah, they let him go back to the Cardinals.
That's correct, and that's some stuff that no fans will ever know. That the inside taking care of players, even if they were only there for a little bit, that's class to me, and that's why when I say Giants, management or the franchise in itself is classy because they are.
Yeah.
So two things I want to finish off with. We'll start with the good and then the bad. What city do you want to be the playoff game in for the wild card round?
Oh, that's what a great question. Giants are going to the playoffs, bro.
Dude, we're going. It still hasn't hit me. Like I know Justin had a call about planning for the playoffs, and it's like, I can't believe we're here. Like halftime of the Titans game, in my brain, I'm like, I can't do it another year. Like this is gonna this is another year of us not being able to get like this just sucks. It sucks watching this team when they're like this, and then now we're just like we're planning playoff stuff going into the bye week.
What are they? Do they? They're 8-2, right? I mean,
yeah,
they should.
You could talk to your blue in the face, but they really should be 8-2, right?
Yeah.
Give me a list of cities that would be on that list.
So Tampa's a possibility because of the NFC South.
I feel confident in Tampa. I'm going to say San Fran, and then what would be the Minnesota, because Green Bay, and Minnesota. So okay. Definitely not Minnesota. Screw Minnesota.
100% not Minnesota.
You don't want to go to the West Coast for San Fran, do you?
100% not.
So it's Tampa or Philly. Where do you want to go?
Or if
I definitely don't want to go to Philly.
If Carolina, I mean that division's anybody. So really,
stop.
Give
Carolina's
me
not winning. Tampa's winning that division.
But Carolina, I also don't think Tampa is, Bobby.
Atlanta.
They're the only team in the division has a quarterback.
Oh, wow. Could you believe Atlanta? Justin might be honest. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I don't see that. That would be. I'm hoping for that because they're really not a good team.
No, they're not.
But Tampa's going to win that division when it's all said and done.
Hey, look, a lot of things are set in motion when the Giants go to Tampa, so I would love for that to be the wild card game.
I want Brady. Now, the frustrating thing is I would fly to New Jersey for a playoff game in Florida, which is kind of frustrating. Because we're gonna do because obviously we're gonna do a watch party, up in Jersey for it. So if you want to skip the game and come, you're invited.
Yeah. I think I'll end my streak for the watch party. That'd be cool. So wait, that was the good. Give me the bad.
Minnesota. Oh, the bad to end?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Toney. This is something I don't think there's anything that me and you talk about more offline in the last 2 years than Kadarius Toney, because there's all types of information.
I got that one. I got that one 1,000% wrong. 1,000, just like I got freaking with Nick Gates with.
I don't think you got it wrong, because when we talked offline, it was like back to last year, beginning of last year, and we're like, there's issues, man. There's shit with him.
Yeah. Do you know what I heard? You and I and Justin hear things maybe more than other people will hear sometimes. That's fair to say, right?
Yeah, and I think we are more willing to share it because beat reporters have their access journalists, and they're afraid to share their information until it's over.
Correct. So they might leak something to somebody else. So I heard he does have a hamstring issue, it wasn't as bad as it was. I mean, that's it. And I don't understand from which side. I don't understand if it was the Giants not playing and immediately wanting him out, or it was Kadarius Toney saying, I don't want to play, I'm hurt.
I mean, you know what it is. It's from the Giants side. They didn't want to play. They wanted to trade him. They didn't want to play him and have him get hurt.
That's correct.
I mean, it was Tennessee told us a story. They didn't want him.
That's correct.
You know?
Yeah,
like
and it's
when
so
people are like, "Oh,
too,
it's the playbook." He doesn't know the playbook perfectly. It's like
now, hold on,
7 plays.
Bobby.
He may not know the playbook to play him 100% of the snaps, but 7 plays, 2 of which are trick plays, 3 of which are running plays, is not playbook. That for a guy who is flat out your best talent at wide receiver by a mile on this team, that was a very conceited. Like, we've got issues with this guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you. I'm overly happy. I'm very happy to get a 3 and a 6. Kadarius Toney, if you remember, guys, I go back to your draft podcast I was on. That's the guy I wanted. That's the guy I got. And I think he is going to flourish in Kansas City. I think he is going to do very well. Not well, very well. And I'm going to hate to see it, but I really hope that the Giants just get another wide receiver and just forget about it.
Yeah,
he's
going to
flourish.
Ill will toward. I know because of the way he can act on social media, people hate him. So, like, the whole injury thing that he ended up deleting, that was
so freaking stupid.
Well, it was stupid because he didn't know how to say it. What he should have said is, like, Joe Shane said it, like, he was healthy. They were ready to, like, he was healthy and ready to go. And he's like, well, why am I not practicing? And, like, well, we want to hold off for you for one day. And he didn't know. Like, he was like, what's the deal? I understand it from his point of view, but it was like, I also from the Giants' point of view, it's like, we're not going to practice you because we're trading you tomorrow.
Correct.
So, like, I view it's
and then he comes
it's an
out
L for the Giants because the Giants go before Joe Shane, but it's a W for Joe Shane and Brian Dable to get that back from what they did for a guy who's only played 20% of the snaps since he's been a Giant.
And that is where people are going to tell me to shut up about him flourishing. We traded a wide receiver and everybody freaks out. Like, we go back to what Justin said. Everybody freaks out on Twitter. And, oh, my God, their best wide receiver. They didn't play.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. He didn't play. And they just didn't believe in him if he did get help. Like, there were issues, and it's frustrating because he's a hell of a talent, but it's just he didn't play, and he didn't really seem like a guy who was putting in the full effort to be fully bought into the Giants.
It's true. You guys tweeted a post of mine from the sideline, like, watching Kadarius Toney, walk the other way. The body language absolutely horrible. I literally watched Joe Judge multiple times have to go talk to him alone. I watched other players talk to him alone, and stuff like that is just, I guess you nip it in the bud, you get it done. You're not even halfway through the season when you make it, and I don't know. I agree. I think it's going to wind up to be a win for both sides. That's it. A win for both sides. I don't want to talk about this like we talk about the freaking OBJ trade for the next 25 years.
No.
Both teams, that's it. A 3 and a 6, good job. Go flourish at Kansas City. Done.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about it like a week after, but this is not like a
Yes, it is.
We're going to look back at.
Yes, it is.
You think he's going to do that? Here's the thing, is if he could stay even semi-healthy, he will flourish in Kansas City because he's not a guy who needs to have the most practice type of guy. Like, you kind of just need to have a coaching staff that believes in him and wants him to play and let him go out there and play. Kansas City's the best spot for him to do that.
Kansas City, New York, Buffalo, and Kansas City. If he can't flourish in one of those, and he already went to one of them, then he's dead meat. Yeah. But if Kansas City could get the ball in his hands and he's healthy, he's going to flourish. That's it.
That's the thing with
him.
I don't
want to talk about him again.
We do the if he's healthy preface with a lot of players. With him, it's like even more so than anything. Like we've never seen anything like it. He had 6 different injuries last year.
The funny thing about saying the 2 places that you want to go are Buffalo and Kansas City. Literally, the offense coordinator for the Giants is from Kansas City, and then the offense coordinator of the Bills last year is the head coach.
Here.
So
correct.
Love that, Joe. Love that we have that.
Thank you. Yeah. I just think he's like we said, you got to find a way to get the ball into your playmakers' hands. And the Giants wanted to do that with Kadarius Toney, but you can't do that without being healthy. That's it.
Yep. It's a sad the way it went down, but I don't think anyone's crying over Kadarius Toney being gone.
Hey, let me ask you guys something. Are you guys excited for the return of Galladay or not?
No, he looked bad, man. And I spent training camp being like people were going a little because there were people going too hard at him for some stuff, but he looked bad when he was out there. He didn't play much, but he did look bad when he was out there. And then the drops are always drops are the quickest way to get a fan base to turn on you.
Drop is the number one way.
It
and
really
he dropped
is.
He dropped that little in route, that little. Oh man, you're right. That was a crusher. But I don't know. I think
if we could get last year's version of him, that's a huge addition to the Giants. But he looked worse than last year.
Yeah.
Those first few games of the year this season. Like last year's Kenny Galladay averaged 53 yards per game on a 60% catch rate with Daniel Jones. That's a solid wide receiver right there.
Yeah, that's correct.
With a bad offense too, in a bad offensive scheme. But he looked worse than what he looked like last year.
But he had 0 50-50 catches. 0.
Yeah. But I don't know if they're going to give him that in this offense either. So I don't think this coaching staff is going to build stuff like Kenny Galladay type offense. So. He's definitely better than Marcus Johnson and David Sills, so I'm welcoming him back. I'm glad he'll be back, but I also don't have much high hopes for him.
And who's the wide receiver they just got for the Bills?
Isaiah Hodgins, who's like he's like a
he's a big.
He's kind of like a David Sills, to be honest, where
he's a big body. He's a bigger body.
Yeah. I think he's better than David Sills, but he's very David Sills like, where he's going to do well in the preseason, but he doesn't have like the athleticism to flourish in the NFL.
Trust me, I'm not. I'm the last person. Well, no, I'm actually not the last person.
The only reason I know this is because we have like really good friends who cover the Bills. Like they do the same thing we do for the Bills, and they filled us in on him.
Yeah. I mean, look, I want Galladay to come back and do so well. I really do. Maybe turn things around, especially with the fan base. He's got so much money owed to him. It's not even funny. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. All right, LPG, we're going to let you go. Appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to Houston. We're going to win that game. Then we're going to win versus Detroit. And I'll see you December 4th. I'm going to be up there for the Commanders game.
Yeah, what do we have to do to... I know parking lot K is a little bit of a hike away from...
L.
I mean, not L. K is where I used to park. Parking lot L is a little bit of a hike from where you tailgate. What do we got to do to get you to come to our tailgate event against Washington? We got it catered by the Candlewick Diner?
You know what's funny? You said that you've never seen me at a game until Nashville, and then you see me at home too.
Well, yeah. Well, I see you at home because you were. Maybe I don't know. Somebody's inviting you to come, and Mojo, whatever.
LPG's invited everywhere, so he just goes literally everywhere.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Commanders game, I'm with you guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's it. I'm with you guys, and that's that. That's where I'm tailgating in the Commanders game.
I'm looking forward to FanFest already. FanFest is a good time.
Yeah. First of all, it's become my favorite thing. The van, the setup, the everything you guys do, that's become my favorite thing. So I'm actually looking forward to that as well.
I know.
I got to see the candy first though before I get in the van.
I know. LPG, we appreciate you as always, man. Thanks again.
I love you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, thanks LPG for coming on the show. NBA fans, the NBA action is just getting started, and so are the incredible offers at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA pregame moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. What up, Siren? Go to DraftKings Sports. That siren is coming for the next season right now. It's dying. It's slowly dying. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and place the same game parlay and combine multiple bets like which team will win, total rebounds, total points scored, and more. On Friday, Justin, I listened to like 4 different Nets podcasts. I listened to NBA podcasts talking about the Nets, and I'm like, I just can't believe how like much of a train wreck the Nets are right now. Like it's insane. Like the Kyrie stuff, you know, it's going back from the summer when guys want to trade it out. We fired Steve Nash finally, and then we're, you know, hiring a guy who went to the NBA Finals and they got suspended for a year and probably was never going to coach again for the Celtics. It's insane. And I hate them all. With payouts bigger than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where I go to bet on the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code JOHNBOY. Make any $5 bets this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code JOHNBOY. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Speaking of other sports, Justin, thanks again for LPG for coming on. Did you catch any of the World Series?
You know what's really messed up because we work for a baseball company? I watched maybe 20 minutes of the World Series.
I barely watched any of it. I usually, at least like the elimination game, I'll watch the full game from start to finish. I watched maybe like 5 innings of the World Series this year.
I watched more of the NASCAR playoffs these last couple weeks than the World Series.
Word up. Yeah, I just couldn't get into it this year. All right, that's an episode. We'll be back on.
That's it? That's what you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to, let's talk a little baseball.
Yeah.
That's an episode. We'll be back on Friday with a preview pod for the Texans. And we better win that game. We better be 7-2. So,
but on YouTube, Wednesday, right? Wednesday?
Mid-season mock draft. And I got you guys a wide receiver for the first round.
Ooh.
So I went in afraid, being like, I don't know if there's going to be a wide receiver there that I'm going to take, and maybe I guess in the second round there's not a wide, because I don't know like a ton of these prospects yet. It's very limited research and knowledge. But I got myself a wide receiver for the first round. So spoiler on the midseason mock draft. I'm interested to see how people react to us doing a midseason mock draft with the Giants actually being good this year. But I think people will understand we're not too crazy. So we'll see you guys on Friday or Wednesday or whenever. We appreciate you guys. Until then, let's go Big Blue.